Tyson Fury, great to see you.
Thank you.
How's life?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Looking in shape, and obviously more jawline. I saw a photo the other day. I swear there were abs coming through.
It looks like I've been on the sunbed a little bit. I've got a bit of a tan, so you always look a little bit more healthy when you've got a tan. So I'll put it all down to that, really.
Big John's in camp. I've seen the videos that you've been putting out, right?
Yeah.
And I tend to have little chats aside with John, like away from camera. I just love him. I'm reading his book as well, so it pleased me to see him in camp as well. What's he brought to camp? He
always brings hard work and military-style training to training camp. So it's good to have him involved, and it's good that we're all on the same page. Me, Sugar, my dad, Greg, Christian, all the full team, Matty, everybody, whoever else involved, everyone's on the same page. So instead of everyone working against each other, they're all working at the same time now. So it's all, the cogs are moving, which is good.
Does it feel different to the last camp for the Ngannou fight?
Obviously it's different. It's in Morecambe or Saudi, but training's always the same, whether you're in Vegas, Saudi, Morecambe. If you're in a gym, you're going to do the same bit of work, whether you're in a bag or in a boxing ring or pad work or sparring. It's always going to be the same. Derek
Chisora did an interview, your old mate Chisora. He said, if Big John's in his corner, he'll walk through Usyk.
Why is that?
I guess he just likes the father-son relationship.
Oh yeah, listen, a father-son relationship is always good. So it's good to have my dad here, and I'm very lucky that my dad's here and alive, and a big part of this team going forward, like from the beginning to the end, you know. So it's good. 8 belts.
Now, over the years,
I made a big point of
that.
Yeah,
I know, right? Because I only listed 4 at the start,
yeah.
And then you come in with all these other ones undisputed. Yeah. But you've had like a different kind of relationship with belts over the years. There was the picture, you're lying down, they're all there.
Yeah.
Then maybe you got a bit disillusioned with them after you won them all and they started stripping you. But what will it mean to win all of these belts right now for you?
To win them all back again, be fantastic, you know, to get them all under one banner again for the first time in 25 years. There's been a few heavyweight champions in that 25 years who haven't managed to get the Undisputed since Lewis and Holyfield fight. So it's a very special moment, especially for heavyweight boxing, to have all the belts on one line and 2 undefeated champions fighting each other for all the belts. And it's an historic event for Saudi Arabia and for boxing. But for me, it's like I'll have double vision because I already have every belt that there is to offer in my front room. So I'm actually going to give all the belts to Turki Al Sheikh as a present from me to him to say thank you, every single one.
Tell me about your relationship with His Excellency. Can you remember the first time that you met him, and have you ever met such a big boxing fan?
I met him for the first time last year, it was, yeah. I spoke to him on the phone and then actually meeting him in reality. I met him down in London in a hotel room. Just such a down-to-earth, lovely guy, you know, massive boxing fan, loves boxing. And to have someone so influential with so much power and movement in the game is awesome. For someone like him, a government sector to be pushing boxing in world boxing is absolutely fantastic. And I've said it many times, if Turkey didn't come for me to take me to Saudi, then I would be retired by now. And I don't know what I'd be doing, but I definitely wouldn't be bringing massive conferences to Morecambe and whatever else. So we do have a good relationship. We have a good working relationship and a good personal relationship, and he checks up on me from time to time, and so do I with him. And it's good, you know. And like I say, I was the first person to open the door to like seller in boxing over there this time. And to have someone who's so genuine, so straight, and everything they say to deliver, it's absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful, you know. And he's a massive boxing fan, so all these fights that fans want to see, he has the ability like that to make these fights happen, hence the reason they're happening. And we've all seen how hard fights are to make over the years. For one reason or the other, it usually comes down to dough, being honest, why these fights don't happen. And now, he's the paymaster, so he can literally put on whatever he wants. He could put Mike Tyson versus Isaac Lowe. He could bring Lennox Lewis back out of retirement to fight a rematch with Vitaly Klitschko.
Or maybe even fight Tyson Fury.
Anybody, yeah. He could literally... He could make Klitschko versus Usyk. He could make any fights happen. Well, as the will is the way, and this man has got a lot of vision, so big moves are happening, and the fights that I've been told about that nobody knows about are very exciting. And big moves in boxing.
Would you tell me in this interview?
No, definitely not. Personal.
Not. Yeah, we'll go out. Listen, as I said, I've been reading your dad's book, so some of my questions are like, I've got that in mind. And he talked about like when you first started, and it was your Uncle Huey, and you were basically like in a tin shed.
Here in Morecambe.
What do you remember of those days? And like, do you look back at it?
I remember it vividly, and it was a very good time in my life. I just got married to Paris. We first moved here, and I only moved here for a week over Christmas, and I never left. I've been here 17 years, so it's been a long time.
But that tin shed, do you ever miss those days? Because look,
I often go back there and train.
Right.
There's a tin shed with water coming in. It's got a big boxing ring and a few bags and a load of old rusty weights, a load of old pictures on the wall, like proper backstreet Bronx gym. And I went in that gym to 17-0, number 1 ranked in the world out there.
With like no real facilities or...
No facilities, nothing. Just what was there. Bit of a bag, ring. Ring had all the floorboards moving in it and that. I went over with my ankle a few times in there. But, you know, I don't think it's the fanciness that makes fighters who they are. And I believe that you've either got it or you haven't. You could dig all you want. You can't turn a piece of coal into a diamond. You have to find the diamond, rough cut diamond first. Even if it looks horrible, by the time they polish it all up and that, it looks beautiful in a stone set ring. But you can never turn a pebble into a precious stone. It's not going to work. You have to have the ability first, and then it can be worked on. But I don't care if you train 7 days a week for 50 years. If you don't have the ability or talent, you ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make it you'll only make it to a certain level. We've seen it time and time again.
Well, one of the things that you've got that a lot of other fighters don't have is that you've got the fighting blood running through your veins. And it's not just your dad John, Bartley Gorman, Big Just Burton, all these Hofy Burton, all these fighting men, legends of the past. Yeah. But do you feel that kind of when you go into the ring in these big occasions that you've got all of that behind you?
There's been so many fighters in my family, like going back like 2-3 generations, like you say, the Bartleys, the Big Just, Jose Burton, Hofy Burton, his granddad, my granddad, all the other boys as well. He's boxed all our cousins, my brothers, Tommy, Andy Lee. There's been so many professionals in our family. It's been ridiculous, really. Probably one of the biggest fight families in the world. So it is. I think it's an advantage for sure, because if you grow up around something, then you're more introduced to it, and you've got a head start before the rest of the world has. And it's what you've been brought up, what you know. So I'd say it's an advantage for sure. But again, I think it really comes down to the individual, because you can have all the breeding, everything. Like sometimes you get the best racehorses in the world, and you pair them up together and they have a foal, and the foal don't win a race. It's all numbers, like it's odds. But if you get 2 cart horses, it's never going to win the Grand National. You can only win the Grand National through 2 proper racehorses combining and making a champion. You can't say get, I don't know, a half-bred racehorse, half-bred donkey and go and win the Derby with it. It's not going to win. Mm-hmm. You have to have the breeding first. But it doesn't mean every single one that's ever thrown is going to be a champion.
There's non-fighters in your family as well. Like your dad's dad, he wasn't a fighter.
Yeah, granddad wasn't a fighter. There's loads of There's loads of non-fighters in my family. Not everyone's a fighter, but not everyone can be a champion as a boxer. There's loads of people in my family who's not been champions of any sort, but boxed. So, but I believe that the odds of success, numbers, will be if you put the 2 right components together. You'll get it. It won't be just a one-off. You know.
So Oleksandr Usyk then. I mean, he's a southpaw. He's tricky. A lot of other guys find him very, very tricky. There's no blueprint really on how to beat him because he's unbeaten. Are you expecting a tricky fight?
Tricky, not so much, because he's a boxer and he can't trick me on anything. But Usyk's a bad man. You know, he's a real bad man. And any underestimation of Oleksandr Usyk, you'd be a mug. So I'm training hard for him. I'm doing everything I can. I respect Usyk as a man, because he's a God-fearing family man, which I am myself. So I respect that more than any boxing achievement. And I respect his career as well. He's been Olympic champion. He's had 350 amateur fights or something. And he's been an undisputed cruiserweight champion. And he's been a unified heavyweight. Well, he is a unified heavyweight champion. So you have to respect that. I'm not fighting some guy who's had 14 and won 11. You know, I'm fighting the real deal as Holyfield. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the challenge. You know, he's a southpaw. He's got good footwork, so they say, and he's got good boxing ability, and technically he's sound. He's proved he can mix it with the big heavyweights because he's beat Joshua and Dubois. They're pretty big heavyweights. So yeah, it's I'm messing with an elite fighter who's got more than boxing ability, and more than that, he's stubborn and he wants to win like I do. So when it comes down to that, and I think all of that aside, like all of the talents and the attributes of each fighter, we both have talent, we both have good attributes and bad attributes, and it will come down to who wants it the most on the night. It won't come down to, oh, he's bigger than me, he's smaller than me, this, that and the other. I think it will come down to who wants it most on the night. And if he wants it more than me, then he'll win. And if I want it more than him, I'll win. But either way, I think we're in for a real treat. Real treat.
Could we see you fighting southpaw?
Probably. I'll be switching up. I always do.
But against Derek Chisora, 2014, the rematch, you
Yeah.
did the whole fight in southpaw and he couldn't get to grips with you.
Yeah, Chisora's a lot more one-dimensional than Usyk, though. Usyk is a slick guy, isn't he? And I say more one-dimensional. He is, because we know what Chisora's going to do. Come forward, bob and weave and swing over the top, back to the body. We saw him have a great fight with Usyk. It was a real close fight.
You said at the time you thought he beat him.
I thought he beat him, or at least deserved to draw, but he lost it by a couple of rounds, which you can't complain.
No.
You know, one man is undefeated on the rise, and one man was, I don't know, had 10 losses or something. So they give it to the man who was undefeated. But yeah, I just think that my will and determination will be more than his on the night.
I've got two more for you, Tyson. The first one is Moses Italme. He's been in camp with you as well. Give us your thoughts on him.
I think he's a good kid. I've said in the past that I think he can be a champion, and I do think, just like I said with Jared Anderson, I think Jared and Moses are very, very both good fighters. However, there's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of stuff outside of boxing that makes fighters not achieve what they should have done, and it's the same old story. If I woulda, shoulda, coulda. If I didn't get involved with these people, if I didn't go out and drink, if I didn't get involved this, that and the other, then I would have, if I woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's why I can sit here today and say I always wanted to not be a woulda, shoulda, coulda guy. I am the guy who did everything he could. And they're only starting off a career, so if they can stay on the right path and away from all the idiots, away from the women, away from the drunken nights, away from all the cranks, then I believe both of them can go on and win world titles.
I like that.
But along the way, there's so much temptation. So much temptation. That's why I've lived in Morecambe for the last 16, 17 years and kept a low profile, so to say.
Final one, Tyson. Ding, ding. First bell's just rung. What's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
Come on.
You're going to see a rabbit running. Run, rabbit, run. And I'll be the bang, bang, bang. I'll be the man wanting the rabbit pie.
We look forward to it.
He might come over and start going on the front foot aggressive, who knows?
Don't know, that's boxing.
Boxing. Find out May 18th. Tune in.
Pleasure.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you, Tyson.